taking off my stormtrooper helmet in the hood. Prank gone wrong.
All right, Ahsoka recap here on Lights Camera Barstool, the finale of the first season, maybe the only season. We don't actually know. Jeff D. Lowe, Ken Jack, Gooch. Not even a bad thing. Like, if there's not another season, it may not be a bad thing, just because there's reasons why. We'll talk about it at the end here. Ahsoka has wrapped up. All the episodes are out now. Go check it out on Disney Plus if you've not already. The continuation of Star Wars Rebels, definitely. That must be noted. If you did not see Rebels, you probably did not enjoy it as much, but still probably enjoyed it to a decent extent. So let's get into it. What do we think right off the top? Rated out of 100. How did the finale go? I love that. That was a great finale. I don't care about the cliffhanger whatsoever. The best Star Wars thing ever made ends on a cliffhanger. This is the Empire Strike. I'm not saying it's as good as Empire, but like in terms of story arc, this is the Empire Strikes Back part of the Mando Ahsoka storyline that we're seeing in live action. So it doesn't end great for our heroes. I think it's really good. I think it's really well done. I'm gonna give it a 90 out of 100. I think it's good. I was quite pumped. I thought the action stuff was great. I thought it wasn't forced in at all. Thought it ended really well, ended on a solid note. Rick Famuyiwa, who has done some of the best Mando episodes, does it again here with Ahsoka.
Yeah, I'd be there. I'm like a little bit lower than you, probably. Like, I'd be like an 85, probably, something like that. Liked a lot about it. There's like stuff to nitpick, but like it's why do that instead of just praise what worked. It's like we talk about it all the time. Like Filoni just kind of gets how this shit works. The action was cool, and again, it really just like blows my mind how in a major IP like Star Wars with all these established characters, he went and made a teenage girl Padawan character and made it one of the most liked characters in all of Star Wars, and arguably the best original character to come out of Star Wars since the original trilogy, and has expanded it now into the adult version of that same character, and just as beloved, just as cool, just as great in so many different ways. And also managed to work all these other teenage characters from Rebels and made them into great adult characters that work in this world as well. I liked everything about it, look, everything, and introduction to Thrawn I think has been really solid so far. Lars Mikkelsen has absolutely crushed the role, which he did in Rebels as well, like in a voice role, but in the live action, it's so much different. I think he's crushed the role. So really enjoyed it. A lot to love about the series as well, but we'll get more into the nuts and bolts later.
Crazy that a character like that lands.
So
decades of hype.
I feel like I'm watching it in this last episode, and I'm like, I feel like I'm almost taking it for granted.
Yeah, I would agree. That's a good take.
Yeah.
I also, let's note on Ahsoka, got off to a terrible start. That first is the Clone Wars thing. The movie that came out, the animated, was not good. It was not good. And then from there on became this iconic character. Great character. Gooch.
Yeah. I remember, not to get sidetracked, I remember I watched a YouTube video a couple years ago, and it was an interview with him, and he kind of broke down how he constructed the character from scratch, and like how he wanted her to be annoying as shit at the beginning, and then build her up from there and make the audience, fall in love with her instead of just giving them a cool character off the bat. So yeah, no, I've always said that Ahsoka has been my goat. This episode, 8 out of 10 or 80 out of 100 for me. I think by far the best Thrawn episode we've gotten yet. And like Ken Jack said, there is stuff to nitpick here, but focus on the positives. I think the biggest plus, when someone is willing to take risk in these IPs and willing to take risk in something like Star Wars, and I think that's what we did here, it makes just so much of a difference and makes you engaged, and your eyes don't gloss over. You're excited for what comes next instead of just like, here's the next product. Like there's a storyline that I'm interested in following. And I think we have that with Ahsoka, and I hope the story continues. We'll talk about it here, but yeah, no, I want to see more.
Yeah, we'll do a quick run through the episode. Obviously, we're on this planet Peridea still. Opens up with Morgan Elsbeth and the Night Sisters, and she gets the Night Sisters' powers. She becomes basically one of them. She gets the fucking green eyes, and she gets the sword blade of Talzin, which is we've seen in Clone Wars before. Very sick. Not the dark saber, not really a lightsaber, but has the Night Sisters' powers and the magic, so it can fight with a lightsaber. Really cool moment there. A little Easter egg, but again, fits in the story. You don't got to know what it is to be like, oh shit, that's kind of cool. We see our heroes. They're still walking around with the little vest people. They're dressed like Han Solo, the little animals. I forget
hermit
their names,
crabs.
the aliens. Yeah, they're hermit crabs. Cool scene of Ezra building a lightsaber. That was sick. You don't get to see much of that in Star Wars.
Yeah.
There's an old deleted scene from Return of the Jedi of Luke building a lightsaber. Kind of gives you reminders of that. Maybe a little reconciliation between Ahsoka and Sabine. Some TIE fighter stuff. But then the really cool shit happens. They go and they try and attack the base where Thrawn's ship is. And we finally see it. The stormtroopers attack initially. They all get blasted and cut down. They're zombie stormtroopers. They're zombified stormtroopers. Awesome. They're making the noises. It sounds like you're watching the fucking Last of Us. It is sick. Very cool. They were obviously reanimated by the Night Sisters' powers. We talked about that. It seemed like that was going to be the case. They had kind of the cuts and the reds, like the red stuff on them, which would imply that they're reanimated by the Night Sisters. Very cool. Like really one of the cooler Star Wars things we've seen in a while. Sabine with the lightsaber, Ahsoka, and obviously Ezra. It was the middle action stuff was sick. We can stop there and chat about that. I thought that was awesome. Awesome stuff.
Yeah. Really, really enjoyed it. I think the only thing, this is one of the nitpicky things. I think that the lightsaber fights in this, and it's fucking Disney Plus, it's a kids show, needs more dismemberment. You got lightsabers. Cut people's legs off, cut people's arms off.
Someone
it
did
ain't
get their
bloody.
head chopped off, and they did very much hide it.
Yeah,
Yes.
they did it. And like it's always like they do whenever they do these ones, it's kind of like how they used to do it in I think the early video games. Like if you're fighting a droid in those video games, like their arms and legs going flying, they're getting chopped in half and shit. But then you fight a stormtrooper and you just get kind of like this vague chop mark on their armor, and like it's not like they're chopped. It's like, dude, this thing cuts through everything. Like that's the lightsaber does, baby. Like take a few arms off. It's like there's no blood. It's all instantly cauterized. Just do a little bit. Give us something there. But other than that, like I think the actual fight sequences were mostly very well done. Maybe could be like faster. I think it was cool how her sword, Morgan Elizabeth's sword, was like one of those old school. I forget the name of the actual blade, but like the old school Chinese swords. And then she fought like the people in those movies, like old school Chinese movies where they fight with those swords. She fought how they fought with like the hand on the blade, kind of like that. Yeah. And I thought that was really cool. Her fight with Ahsoka specifically, I think was the highlight of the episode fight wise. Super fucking cool. Really enjoyed that.
I'll skip ahead here. Spoilers, she does die.
Yeah.
Well, so the death they did show. They very much showed her getting sliced by Ahsoka, which I know it's not a dismemberment. The head's not being chopped off, but they did show. I thought they might kind of hide that a little bit. They did show her slashing her.
That would just chop her ass in half, Darth Maul style. Like Darth Maul, they show his fucking ass getting torn to pieces. Like, come on, man. Just a little more.
Morgan Elsbeth does stay on the planet. She makes a sacrifice for Thrawn. She didn't seem too fired up about it.
Fuck. She's like being told to work on the weekends.
With that fired
he was
up.
so ready to get rid of her.
Dathomir's where all the Night Sisters are from. That's where actually the ship is going. So they're trying to delay as much as possible. Thrawn is. Sabine helps. So then Sabine and Ezra get attacked by like the super zombified stormtroopers, which had great. Their armor sounded sick. Like the way their footsteps, that was awesome. Great sound design in the episode. You actually see Sabine blasts off part of the stormtrooper's helmet. Yeah, you see the zombified face. Very, very cool, like unique, fun, new Star Wars stuff. And then Sabine helps Ezra force jump onto the ship, which is a cool scene. And he force jumps onto Thrawn's ship, and it eventually blasts away. He's gone with Thrawn for a little while. He's into the hyperspace. Sabine and Ahsoka team up, have a nice moment, and they go into space, but they can't fend off Thrawn. Thrawn blasts in hyperspace and goes into that other galaxy. And Ahsoka and Sabine they're left there now with Balin, who's there, and Shin is there as well, and she's going to go lead like their Tusken Raiders. And Balin, we don't know. Again, Ray Stevenson has passed away. I assume they're going to recast that character. That's my guess.
We used the fucking Mortis thing. He was on that statue.
They clearly set him up to be something. I would say even bigger than I was expecting.
Because that's massive in Star Wars lore.
They're going to have to recast it.
All that Mortis shit. Yeah. Oh yeah. Dude, we thought of someone good for that last episode, but I forget.
I've seen Leaf Schreiber turn around, which might be tough to get. I mean, as he's not the biggest name in the world, but it is.
He's got to narrate Hard Knocks every year.
He'd be really good. Yeah, exactly. He'd be really good. I think though. That's actually not a bad suggestion. Huh? I don't know. Good voice too. Match with him. Yeah.
We do see more Ivy Owl. Ahsoka's owl. We see the owl there on the planet. So she's hanging out with Sabine. They're just trying to get their life on and figure things out from there and how they're going to get off and if someone's going to save them and all that.
Oh yeah.
Are they going to get off? Are they trying to get
maybe.
off?
They're getting off. I'm always trying to get off, just like them.
I mean, that's obviously like they have to have a plan here. I think that's the point. It's like, what are they going to do? They're stuck there. Yeah. They've lost in a sense. We see the Anakin Skywalker Force Ghost, which is a nice thing to end the episode. Ezra escaped the ship. He flew in a TIE fighter. Had a
Take your helmet off, bozo. Take your fucking helmet off before you get off the ship. Fucking idiot.
You dramatic dork.
Yeah, you dramatic reveal ass fucker. Like, dude, take your helmet. Yeah, come on. Who's that for?
Even I thought for a second it might be a stormtrooper. I was like, oh, do they send like someone to go like, infiltrate or something or kill them?
Because you probably thinking the same thing I was thinking. I was like, there's no way he'd be stupid enough to keep his helmet on when he's getting off the ship when he's already in Allied hands. Like, why would you do that?
He reunites with Hera.
Yeah. What's up, Hera?
Reunites with Hera and the rebels. And it ends with that shot of Anakin, and that's
you just got pranked. taking off my stormtrooper helmet in the hood. Prank gone wrong.
So there's no announcement of a second season. We know Dave Filoni's working on a movie, and it does sound like it's going to be based around Thrawn and the Mandalorian characters. If we get another season, I'd rather just be like Thrawn now. Give me a fucking Thrawn season, and I wouldn't be shocked if he wants to do that.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I don't know where it's going to go, but to more Thrawn is like it's crazy. Like we're amped, but we got not a lot of him, and I can't wait to see him more tactical. Every time this motherfucker finds the best way to take a
loss.
Yeah, exactly. Like acceptable. It's like
I'm like, yeah, it was. Yeah,
he's so tactical and such a good character. So yeah. I mean, this was a win for me. I loved the whole season. This was great Star Wars, and it proves that you can have fun, you can have the adventures with Mando, you can have like the little things, you can have the big villains, but also like kind of the fun side, action-y quests here like Ahsoka. You could have the serious like Andor. Just about committing to it, and like that's why Obi-Wan looked goofy. That was a problem there. Boba Fett was weird, but like you have so many good examples. Like I'm tired. I'm actually at the point where I'm tired of hearing about like the negative stuff with Star Wars. Like they have done plenty of good stuff now. Yeah. Obi-Wan wasn't great. Kenobi wasn't great. Bad people love Bad Batch. The Clone Wars animated stuff was great. The Rebel stuff's been great. Mando, even if I like the third season of Mando, it's not as good as the first and second, but like Mando as a whole, great. Like this, there's so much good. Let's just talk about the good now. Like I think the water has risen above now.
And I think if you compare it right to its sister franchise, I guess in Marvel, like as far as writing the ship goes, like Marvel hasn't been able to do half as much good to write the ship as Star Wars has. And like you can combine Clone Wars with that, you can combine Mando with that, you can combine Ahsoka with that. Like there's whiffs like Obi-Wan or whatever, but like they're making more good stuff, I would say, in this space than they are bad stuff, which is very impressive.
Oh, yeah,
considering just like how. Let's just say like how mixed the reception of the sequels trilogy was and how bad the reception was for the prequel trilogy. And I'm really liking this. I think they do a really good job of like giving you cool little moments. Like one moment in this episode that I think was really cool was Huyang telling Ezra stories about young Kanan Jarrus, like as a Padawan. Like shit like that is really cool. Like just little moments like hearing stories about legacy, or I guess not like a massive legacy character, Kanan Jarrus, but like hearing little stories and stuff like that, and hearing people get to get stories about characters like Anakin, even with the hologram and crap like that. I really enjoy that. If I'm nitpicking, again, one more thing from the series that I think I'd nitpick is I didn't fully enjoy either Ezra reunion, either his reunion with Sabine or his reunion with Hera. I think both of those could have been moments that were like really cool, like great dramatic moments, and I feel like both of them were just kind of like, oh yeah, here he is. Like, yeah, there's like, yeah, there's the dude we were looking for the last like 20 years of our life, and it was like, yeah, what's up? And like those I think could have been handled a little more delicately and done better, but other than that, it's this great ass series. It's a really good series. Really enjoyed it. Can't wait for season 2.
Yeah, I'd still have it third ranked out of the series that they put on Disney Plus. At least the live action space behind Andor, behind Mando, even with the uneven season 3. But there's not much I think this series could have done to rise above those two, to be honest. Like, I think they really did do everything correctly. There's some small things. I think the fight choreography was inconsistent, even like in this last episode. Yeah,
here or here.
Yes, exactly. Like the Morgan Ahsoka fight, great. But then like her gun kata, or not her gun kata.
It's kind of gun kata. It's like
It's kind of not
gun
gun kata,
sword
but
combo, whatever.
yeah, gun sword combo, force fighting was a little clunky. I sent you guys one of those videos.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, maybe tighten that up. But like, those are small things that are very fixable if they head into a season 2 or continue this universe. And like I said, the risk that they took here, setting up a new galaxy, you like leaning into the magic side of Star Wars instead of just the pure sci-fi, or the dramatic side like Andor did, like doing something different and really leaning into like the Night Sisters, like these magic swords, stuff like that. It's fun. It's different. Keeps me engaged. Makes me want to watch.
That's one of those things, like the Night Sister magic shit is one where like if you haven't watched Clone Wars, I'm like, I wonder how that resonates with those people. I will say one good thing that
they're weird. They're weird. If you don't know, they are weird. I think they work, but you're right. Yeah. That'd be one thing you're like, what the fuck?
The one good thing is that I would say there's probably a lot of people that didn't watch Clone Wars that played like Jedi's Fallen, Survivor, and like those games where that is introduced as well, and that definitely helps as well.
Yes.
But it's just that's one where if I'm just a casual Star Wars fan and I see like here's a bunch of witches doing some magic, I'd be like, oh, what is this? But I mean, I think it works even independently of it. So
I mean, that's what the Force was before they introduced midichlorians. Like it was just like just magic. Like it wasn't it wasn't a genetic thing or like,
exactly.
You know?
That's it, I guess, on Ahsoka. I think we all loved it. Yeah, I'd have it behind Mando and Andor, but again, we're to that point where, like, guess what? They're coming out with a lot of good stuff.
It's all relative.
I do have a question. Stuff. With this Balin side, like, are they going to split this storyline up? Because they're very clearly going to do the heir to the Empire stuff with Thrawn. But is Balin's storyline, is that tied into that, or is this going to be something completely different that he's going off and doing?
Great question. I feel like someone's going to join him in this, but I don't know who it would be. Balin, that is. Mm-hmm. Like, because he's into this sort of like middle Force stuff, where I feel like Luke would be investigating shit like this. You know what I mean? Where it's like trying to get to the roots. Like, but I don't think Luke is going to go be chilling with Balin's skull or anything like that. But I do think like they're setting him up for something big, exploring all of the origin of the Force, Mortis stuff, which is extremely interesting, and also one of the best little mini arcs in all of Clone Wars, and one I would highly recommend watching.
Yeah, it's a great one.
Star Wars, baby.
I got the fever, man. I got the fever back, which is like a great one of the great signs.
I finished my Andor rewatch. I'm like, fuck.
I'm about to start now because I'm just getting the fever back. I'm about to go take out my lightsaber where I got Disney. Just wield it around a little bit.
I'm probably gonna go back and rewatch Rebels now. That'll probably be my move, just because that seems like the most natural thing to do. That's it. Ahsoka done. We'll be doing these for Loki though. So if you like Loki, we'll be doing these for Loki, which we're very excited about. That's it for Ken, Jack, and Gooch. I'm Jeff D'Lo. Make sure if you're on YouTube to subscribe to the channel, like the video, leave us your thoughts below about Ahsoka. We'll talk to you next time.